is the Black Critique. Happy Insurrection Day. Is that appropriate or not appropriate? I don't know. All the Republicans today are kind of salty and silent. It's either one or the other, especially the black ones. Like, you're not hearing any black conservatives saying anything. They have their heads stuck in the sand today. Very interesting. So today, I'm going to shed light on the Republican Party, because you don't have the black Republicans shedding light on. They didn't even talk about what happened on January 6th, right? But I'm going to talk about what happened on January 6th. And for the black Republicans that say, well, it's not a black thing or something like that. It is concerned black people. It is a black thing. If you have a party and you represent a party and you're for a party, questions are going to be asked. Hey, your party's doing this. Do you condone what your party's doing? And it seems like their silence kind of coincide how they feel. They're not condemning it, right? So it seems like they're condoning it, right? So, and I think some black Republicans, as you're going to see here very soon, they're complacent in what's going on, right? But we're going to analyze what happened on January 6th because, like I said, it's very important to see that the party where all these black Republicans want the Democrats, the black Democrats, just to go over to the black Republican side. So, you know me, you know what I say, what the black Republicans are, and what the Republicans as a whole represents, right, and how they feel about black people. But that may not be enough to deter some people, especially some black Republicans, if they're being honest with themselves. So I'm going to go analyze what happened during the whole insurrection. And I really want to see if I may change the minds of certain black Republicans or shed light on the things that they don't want to bring to light. And then tomorrow or the day after that, they're going to act like, January 6th never happened. But I'm not going to let that pass. So we're going to go into what happened at January 6th, these black Republicans and their white constituents that they are, because remember, they're saying the Democrat Party is bad. The Democrat Party is not good for black people. They hate black people and all these things. So as we go through what happened on January 6th, I want you to ask yourself this. Has Democrats ever did the things towards black people or said the things towards black people or feel a way towards black people how the Republicans feel towards black people? So without further ado, let's get it.
More and more insurrectionists were pouring into the area by the speaker's lobby near the rotunda, and some wearing MAGA hats and shirts that said Trump 2020. I told them to just leave the Capitol, and in response they yelled, "No, man, this is our house. President Trump invited us here. We're here to stop the steal. Joe Biden is not the president. Nobody voted for Joe Biden. I'm a law enforcement officer, and I do my best to keep politics out of my job. But in this circumstance, I responded, well, I voted for Joe Biden. Does my vote not count? Am I nobody?" That prompted a torrent of racial epithets. One woman in a pink MAGA shirt yelled, "You hear that, guys? This nigger voted for Joe Biden." Then the crowd, perhaps around 20 people, joined in screaming, "Boo, fucking nigger." No one had ever called me a nigger while wearing the uniform of a Capitol Police officer. In the days following the attempted insurrection, other black officers shared with me their own stories of racial abuse on January 6th. One officer told me he had never, and in his entire 40 years of life, been called a nigger to his face, and that streak ended on January 6th. Yet another black officer later told me he had been confronted by insurrectionists in the Capitol who told him, "Put your gun down and we'll show you what kind of nigga you really are." To be candid, the rest of the afternoon is a blur.
Imagine going through something like that, right? At your job. No matter what job you have, imagine you're at your job, right? And you're dealing with people and someone on your job. You know what? I can't even compare what this guy is going through right now. Imagine that this guy said he thought he was going to die. If you listen to the testimony of a lot of these Capitol Police, they thought like, wow, this is how I'm going to die. You had some saying, they were yelling out, take his gun and shoot him with his own gun, right? He thought he was going to die. If you know anything about American history and black people, right? The moment a white person start calling out the N-word, that's verbal violence. After the verbal violence comes the physical violence, which most often leads to your death. So it's him versus just a couple hundred people just pouring in, a couple of good white upstanding Republicans that these black Republicans that just so happen to just love because they're Republicans and they got more sense than the Democrats, right? These black Republicans want you to come over to their side and to get off the plantation. Like I said, they want you to get off of the plantation. They want you to get out of the field and go into the big house, right? This man said that he thought this is how he was going to die. He thought this was going to be his last day on earth dealing with all these people. And remember, he also said, he said about how, this is going to be your last, I'm going to show you what type of nigga you are and all this other stuff. This sounds like everyday racist 1950s type talk from these white supremacists. Again, show me the Democrat equivalency. I'm not caping for the Democrats or anything like that. I'm saying that they're our black people's savior. What I am just simply saying is that you cannot compare the Democrats and the Republicans when it comes to their racism. You can't do that. It's like pretty much almost like night and day. You cannot compare the two. What is the Democratic version of what we're hearing? Right? You see here in these pictures right here, again, Republicans want to say, oh, Blue Lives Matter. And we all know Blue Lives Matter is in opposition to Black Lives Matter, right? It's a middle finger to Black Lives Matter. But of course, they want to play like, no, we really care for cops, right? They care for cops when it's advantageous to them, right? But when a cop is in their way and is hindering on them breaking the law and all this other stuff, then I'm going to kill the cops. They even did the white police officers. So they're doing it to white police officers, right? Saying they're going to take their gun and kill them and do all these things to them and hurt them and all this stuff and things like that. Who the hell is a black person? So all this is just a farce. All this is just a farce on them being real Americans, right? So these are nothing but NRA gun tone. Oh, I got my gun. Look at the personality of Republicans. They're not that different. They've been the same for pretty much like the past century. You know what I'm saying? They've been the same. Oh, my gun. Oh, I hate and hating other people. That's all they're about. So their politics around having my gun, hating other people, and me having more rights than the others. That's all Republicans are for. Tell me they don't have anything that they stand for as far as like their represent. What are their representatives giving them? What are their representatives doing to make their quality of life better? Nothing. Right? So it's the same old bullshit over and over again. again, these black Republicans want us to join the Republican Party along with these white people, right? These Confederates, right? These true blue Americans, right? That's where they want you to join. They want you to join them. And in all honesty, I want to know why they feel that the Republican Party is a better safe haven than the Democrat Party if we had to choose, right? I'm not saying we have to be Democrats at all. I'm not saying that that's our saving grace. I'm not saying that. Again, I'm simply bringing up points that they don't bring when they're very disingenuous, saying like, why are you still a Democrat? I don't understand why you're still a Democrat, right? Let's say you believe their lie that Donald Trump was doing good things, good things for the economy or whatever, right? He's not doing anything specific for black people. So if you still have, and your party is still a party of hating black people, any self-respecting black person is not going to go to a party where a line has been drawn in the sand, like I said before, that wants nothing to do with black people, right? Even have some good Republicans, right, that are, like I said, you may have some Republicans are not as extreme as that, but you also have Republicans that used to be Republicans and it took a step back and was like, wow, like, I don't want to say I'm a Republican and then people associate me with all these hateful things. I'm like, that's not what I'm about. I'm not that type of person. I just agree with this one thing when it comes to this one policy. I can't be a diehard Republican and do that. So they'll either be an independent or, hey, look, they have no political affiliation and things like that. But to say, hey, I'm a Republican and I'm conservative and da 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 da, you know what I'm saying? You as a white man is gonna. It's like when a white person says, okay, you have black pride, you have black pride, black power, you have Latino pride, and all this other stuff. It's not the same if you were to say, oh, white power. Now that has a different connotation, right? Why? Because or white pride. Right? Not so. Well, you can't say a white man can't be proud of being white. A white man can have power within himself, like black people have black power. No, it's because every time a white person says white power, it has to do in spite of other people. I'm better than you. You see what I'm saying? So you when even certain people, you have to take a look at yourself, who you are. And does that party hold your standards and how you want to people to perceive you when you say that? That's why when I say, hey, I'm a Democrat, but I'm a Democrat, but I'm a little bit more independent because I really don't like what the Democratic Party does as a whole. But if anything were to be done, right, in this political atmosphere right now, for anything done for the betterment of black people, I could see it being done through the Democratic Party because they don't spew and say all these hateful things towards black people like the Republican Party does. And you got and you don't have the black people that put their head between their white woman's legs or under master under dive their head under master's ass because they want to ruffle any feathers, right? If you're pro-black, right, any opposition, any person, people, or group that's opposed of your very existence of who you are, you wouldn't be you will not be co-signing anything they do. You will fight them, right? So right here you can see, hey, we probably got some black Republicans here on YouTube, and that we probably know that was probably there. Were any of you black dudes there? Any of you proud black Republicans? Because you see the yellow I heard right here. You got a Negro right here, but he's a good nigga. You know what I'm saying? So we know all these Trump supporters, the majority of them, especially the ones they're racist, but as like he's a good nigga because he's on their side. So he got his right mind and stuff like that. So they probably may call him niggas and stuff like that to his face. Because why? because he's a good, useful idiot. He's a good, useful pawn, right? That's what he's for. That's what he's doing. Six is extremely. I probably disagree with his politics, probably, maybe, but I'm saying, look, let's say for argument's sake, this guy is a moderate, but it's kind of hard to say this guy is a moderate, right? He ignored all the racism around him. He ignored all the crazy conspiracies, and that's why he is there. Now, I understand black people is not a monolith when it comes to anything. People are people, no matter what shape, size, color, creed, or whatever, right? But when when you look at a black person in this setting, right? You could tell as a black person, he's not aware of himself. He doesn't know who he is as a black man in America. He doesn't understand how he is perceived, right? So if you go through this country, right, stay in this country, and you have a mindset of Larry Elder or Juan Williams or Ronald Rivera and things like that, and just think, I'm black, yeah, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm Hispanic, but yeah, that doesn't matter. And you have a white mindset of seeing things, you find yourself in this situation, right? Here's another one. Another black dude right here, right? Another black dude right here with a bullhorn and everything, right? In this predicament. Like, it's like, I I would really like, I don't know if I regret, but I really would like to talk to these people and feel like, why are you here? What pushed you to come here? You know what I'm saying? Your white friend with the pickup truck? You know what I'm saying? Not literally, but why do you think you're here? And there's so many questions I want to ask black people like that, right? But I haven't found any black person yet, especially on a YouTube platform in real life, yeah. And when I talk to them, it makes sense because it's usually in opposition of the Democrat, and it's usually for people who don't understand or really know Donald Trump very well. It's like, hey, look, I know the Clintons and things like that, but I don't know who this Donald Trump character is. All I know is the Clintons are bad. I did some research on the Clintons, and they didn't do too much research on Donald Trump because he's not a real political figure. But as a person and human being, he strikes out right there, Donald Trump, right? So I would like to really ask them these questions, but like I said, they had to do a lot of like ignoring their surroundings, right? Ignoring who they are as a black person and see themselves through the lens of as a black man, right? They're around a whole bunch of racists, and they don't understand they're around these races. They just ignore it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, they see them probably like they see him like they're gonna treat him good. Hey, you're a black guy. You agree, and all these racist right wing propaganda things like that. Why would a racist have an issue with you? It's like he's black, but you know he's one of the good ones. So they're not gonna be so have so much animosity against you as a person that's like me or any upstanding, respectable black person. Like, nah, that's bullshit. I don't care what you're gonna say about Black Lives Matter. I don't have to promote Black Lives Matter to understand that Black Lives Matter. I don't have to be a part of Black Lives Matter to understand that police brutality is a real thing. These are all the things that Republicans feel that's just total nonsense, right? But for some reason, you got these black people that are Republicans that just ignore this, and they want you to come over to the dark side, aka the Republican side. So even during the insurrection, you had that Donald Trump incited, right? He even had people like calling him on some like, yo, call it off. and he would not call it off, to the point where they didn't, like, you had like Don Jr. He was calling his father. He was not taking any calls from his father. You guys will find this out if you just do your little bit of research. It's not that hard to find. He wasn't taking Don Trump wasn't even taking phone calls from his son at all, right? All these other people, Sean Hannity, you know what I'm saying, Laura Ingraham, they were calling Mark Meadows like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? Right? They were sending Mark Meadows all these text messages telling Trump to stop, Trump to stop. Trump would not hear them, or what, he just let it rock. Trump didn't, because remember the whole thing Trump was saying like, oh, I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was all peaceful, right? But then he knew, right? So the cat's out the bag now, because you have a whole bunch of people telling him what's going on. He said he didn't know what was going on. You have a whole bunch of people telling him what's going on, and he's deliberately ignoring their texts, right? He's literally ignoring their texts. So you got the commission that they have right now for the insurrection and things like that. You got all these things coming out now. It came out a little way earlier, but you have a lot more coming out now saying that obviously what we already know, because remember Trump said it like, hey, take back your democracy, take back your democracy at the Capitol. And this is how stupid Republicans are, right? The ones, especially the ones that did the insurrection. They were saying, hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence. They wanted to kill their own vice president. They wanted to kill their own Republican vice president because he was gonna, like I said, he's gonna be there, which is just basically ceremonial. He's there for ceremonial purposes to confirm the presidential nominee. If he's not there, it doesn't make it or break it. It's just ceremonial. It's kind of like passing the baton, because obviously the president won, right? So the vice president would be one, okay, I'll pass the baton over or whatever, and things like that. But it's ceremonial. They went there to stop Mike Pence. They figured if Mike Pence wasn't there to do that ceremonial gesture, that it would stop everything, and then Trump would still remain president. These are fucking idiots. These are idiots. And even, okay, and if they were, and let's say that was true, right? So in the election in 2024, Kamala Harris could say, you know what? If Donald Trump's, let's say Donald Trump's runs, and let's say Donald Trump wins, Kamala Harris could say, you know what? No, I'm not doing that ceremonial thing. Joe Biden's president. Like, they don't think. They don't think. The shit makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? So at this point right now, it's just, I just hope these Negroes understand it doesn't. They have to understand you're black first. You're not a Republican, then black. You're not a You're not a Republican, or I make this much money and I drive this car. Yeah. Then I'm black. No, like the theme goes, you could be a poor nigga, rich nigga, Republican nigga. You still a nigga to them. You're still a nigga to them. So if I'm gonna be a nigga, I'm gonna be that nigga that aggravates you. I'm gonna be that nigga that irritates you. I'm gonna be that nigga you can't stand. I'm not gonna be that nigga you love. And that's the thing with these black Republicans, right? They want to be the nigga that white people love, right? Because they already know how the majority of Republicans feel about black people, right? They know how the majority of Republicans feel about black people, and there's going to look at black. It's like they want to be this happy slave. You know what I'm saying? Because because you have these Confederate people and these racist people that always say like, oh, slavery wasn't that bad. You know, they were happy. They would just sing, dance, and all this other stuff. We treat our niggas good. I don't know what's wrong. They was part of the family. They was like part of the family, like the dog. You know what I'm saying? It's like, have some fucking self-respect for yourself. Like I said, if your politics is like, hey, look, I'm just gonna vote for this person just for strategical reasons and stuff like that, that is perfectly fine, Democrat or Republican. But when you keep saying you're a diehard Republican and everything that comes out your fucking mouth is a Republican talking point, Any respectable, intelligent black person is going to look at you sideways like, nigga, what? Like, okay, what the hell's going on here? You know what I'm saying? You just being a happy, go lucky slave so white people don't have to look at you too crazy or worry about, wonder what this nigger's about. Like, he agrees with all my points and all my things, and when it comes to racism, it's like non-existent. Okay, perfectly fine, awesome. This is a good nigger here. Yeah, I like this guy. He's good. So anyway, I'm not gonna be too long-winded with it. I pretty much gave you all a lot of information you can check out for yourself. If you didn't know anything, just check into it, check it out. If you don't know, I just want to share light to the situation because they're quiet today. They're extremely quiet to the point you can hear a mouse piss on cotton in church. But anyway, remember, please like, share, subscribe, and peace. Hope you enjoyed the video.